Welcome if you're new here or you're just catching this video. My name is Courtney. I'm here on this page with Minimally Enhanced, and Tilly's coming in to say hi. And today we are talking about basic contouring. I know that word can seem a little bit scary for people, but the reason I think it's so important is because our faces aren't completely flat. So typically when we go in with our traditional like liquids or powder foundations, they kind of leave us looking a little bit dull and lifeless. So by using the cream foundations, which I'm going to be using today, I just popped a few in my compact here. I love this because it's really keeping all of that natural like dimension and shape that's in your face, and just kind of enhancing it without needing to go in and having a bunch of layers and layers of makeup on our face. Trends are kind of coming back to makeup, no makeup, and honestly, as we're kind of aging, we really need to try our best to use products that we can get away with using less layers on our faces. That's really going to be the best for us. So I use a cream makeup based system, a cream contour palette. I can pick or suggest a few contours for yourself. I like to play around with multiple depending on the day, but typically I'll recommend something that would be like enhancing to your natural skin tone, and I usually typically will match your like hair and brows and things like that. So if you want some suggestions, that's what I'm here for. I can help choose a few colors for you. But I just have a few in my palette today. I think I'm going to go with Ash here, which is a little bit of a lighter end that I like. I have Shadow, which is definitely more on the cool end, as you can tell, and then I also love Astoria. So I usually play around with these three, and sometimes I mix it up with more, depending on my preference. So I'm going to show you typically when I recommend those shades to you. I'll show you exactly where to put that contour just to begin with your makeup. And that's all I'm going to put on today, just to show you the difference between, obviously, I mean, I have a few blemishes and things, but obviously I'm having a pretty good skin day. I have my glasses on right now, so I typically think that that kind of hides my under eye, but all I'm going to do today is just put on the contour just so you can see. Really, you can have a no makeup look, and especially my demi users, sculpting and adding this contouring to your face, or adding all the color into your face, is really what's going to give you that definition and fun look of like a makeup no makeup look, or like a no foundation look. So typically when I recommend starting out, the detail brush makes contouring super easy. If you're using a one brush system, usually I'll recommend a 3D brush, and I typically will use the fluffy end to do my contour, and I will just squeeze this end together so it almost looks actually similar to the detail brush. So if you want to get away with a one brush system, you can use a 3D, and if you're one of my demi users, I'm going to be using my 3D contour today, but as a demi user I like to use the wash brush. So this brush here, yours will be white, but for this video purposes, just for kind of like a multi-use, I'm going to use the 3D brush today just to kind of show you guys. And when we're using our contour, we're really just following the roadmaps of our own face. So basic contouring doesn't need to be fancy. Basically, we're going to be changing and accenting a few of the shadows. So if you look straight on my face, you can kind of see this area here. This area here has some shadow. You can see all this depth here, all this dimension here, kind of having some shadow, and then you could actually see some of the shadow along my jawline. So those are literally the basic spots that we're going to be adding this contour, and it's just going to be enhancing those shadows for us to be able to, if you're choosing to use a foundation, you can go in with your foundation, or if you're choosing to use a no foundation system, then you can go in like that. But I like to add my contour first so I can see where that definition is and then see what needs to be covered afterwards. This, of course, is totally personal preference. So with this system, I use Saint Official. So I am an artist with Saint, and I can match you to all of this. So if you're interested, just send me a message. But I use these cream contours. I've set up my own contour palette here. Typically most people can get away with just one. I just like to play around. So I'm just taking a little bit on my brush. Now the contours are a bit more of a stiffer consistency, so you can kind of dab in a little bit more to your contour. And we will just start with doing our forehead first. So like I said, you kind of can see these natural shadows there, but typically if you bring your fingers kind of from the outside of your brow bone to kind of meet in the middle, all of the rest of this area in your brow or in your forehead should have some sort of shade or shadow to it. So what I do with that is I'm going to start, I have the contour on my brush, I'm going to start kind of back in my hairline, and I'm just going to brush this contour forward. So I prefer to place and blend as I go because I find that that's quicker for me. So if you like to put it on, your contour on with your fingers or with your brush first and then blend it out, you can totally do it that way. Also, if you like doing your main foundation first and then doing your contour, you can totally do that as well. These creams that I'm working with are completely blendable, and so it works really well however you find is easy for you. So I'm really, again, bringing all of that contour and shadow. I'm just enhancing where that naturally is by bringing it from my hairline to the center of my forehead. And by doing it this way, it'll kind of blend out as you get towards the center of your face. So you can see that just enhanced a bit of the shadow that was already naturally there. I went with a lighter contour today, but you can still see that kind of brought in and added a little bit of that dimension there. And these creams do have some coverage as well, so you'll get a tiny bit of coverage with that too. Next then we'll go into the jawline here. So again, if you like to just tap on your product here with your finger and then blend it out with your brush, you totally can. Or if you like to swipe it on with the brush and then blend out the edges, you can. I prefer, what I think is easiest for me to do time-wise, is actually just kind of tapping that contour right onto my cheekbone. And again, I kind of like to squeeze that brush. So I'll just kind of tap that on, and I'm tapping it right on the top of my cheekbone. I'm not going above, right where that pointy part is. I'm not going too low because you're gonna look a little bit more sunken in if you bring your contour too low. So I want to stick right where my cheekbone is. And I will kind of bring it just to the outside of my eye. You can play with this depth depending on the look you want, but for your basic contour, that's where I'll place it. And then I'll kind of go in and feather the edges out so they don't look so harsh. So you want to make sure you're kind of blending a little bit more upwards, but basically you just want to soften the edges of your contour. And I also like to actually connect this kind of light portion here that I just have in my face. It's just kind of a little bit of an absence of color, so I just like to connect there to just kind of add that lift on that side of my face. So you can kind of see it's really natural, but you kind of get that lift on your cheekbone here. So again, you can see there I've kind of defined where that natural shadow is already, and then this side it's there, but it's looking a little bit dull, so we're just enhancing that. Really place just a nice light layer. Doesn't need to be too dark, but you can always go in and add a little bit more if you want to have a more contrasted look. So as you can see, I can't because I don't have my glasses on. We've really now defined the cheekbones here, lifted them up, and then I've added a little bit of that definition to the face. I don't have any actual foundation on, you guys. This is all my contour doing my work and adding all of this life and dimension to my face. How cool is that? How important is that? You never really realize that your makeup, most of your makeup is actually into adding the color to your face and the dimension. It's super cool. So into the jawline here, if you're having a little bit of trouble finding where you need to place your line, or you seeing your natural shadow, just kind of feel for that tip of the bone and kind of place your contour just right on the edge of that jawline there. We don't want to be too exaggerated here, but basically it's just going to blend out, and then you can kind of blend the rest of that contour under the chin there to add a little bit of that shadow. That'll just add a little bit of definition there for you. Again, right on the edge of that jawline. And you can notice I'm not taking mine all the way into my chin. I have a small little bit of a jowl, so I actually kind of hide that by keeping my contour back from the edge of my chin there. So if you have a little bit of a jowl, you can try that too and see if you like it. So once you get the handle on this, adding a little bit of that dimension to the face, then if you want to, you can play and add a little bit more into that your contour repertoire there. But that is it for today. Quick video, just strictly focusing on that placement and how to get like an easy blend to really get started for a nice light and natural contour. Make sure to like and save this video to come back and watch if you need a little bit of help with your contour. As always, I'm here to give you a hand as well, so you can always send me a message. And if you're interested in getting your hands on your own palette or your own contour system, let me know and I can get you some suggested colors for that.